Different organizations have different governance needs. Our goal at Collate is to automate the governance around your data, while also maintaining flexibility, since governance processes that are manual or rigid fail to scale with your data and your teams. We've leveraged a new automated governance framework to deliver an enhanced Glossary approval workflow. In the Workflows tab under Govern, you can now see the internal governance workflows present in the platform. This view will show you the steps involved in the approval process for a Glossary term. Let's go through it. We first check if the term has reviewers. If not, the new term is automatically approved. Otherwise, we added a new status, in review. You can define a set of rules that the Glossary term needs to follow before it can be reviewed. By default, we are requiring the description to be set, but you can change these requirements, such as requiring custom properties, owners, or any other properties supported by Glossary terms. Once the change is made to a Glossary term that makes it match all of the requirements, the status will change to in review and a task will be opened. Otherwise, if the term does not follow those rules, it will stay in draft. Finally, the reviewers will be able to either accept or reject the term. If we now check the Configuration tab, we can see more information about the workflow. It is based on Glossary terms, and it is triggered when both terms are created and when they are updated. This means that now, any changes to a Glossary term will trigger this process, moving the term back to a draft or review state when necessary. Let's try this. First, we'll define a term without any reviewers. As you can see, it was automatically approved. Now, let's make sure the workflow is triggering by adding the admin as a reviewer. If I create a new term, it's automatically created as draft, but I've added a description, so I would expect the term to actually appear in the in review state. If I filter that status, this is actually there. This task has been created and the term can be approved. Now let's go back to our workflow and make some changes to see what happens. I'm going to edit the rules for a term to go from the draft state to the in review state. In this case, I'm going to add rules where the legal entity custom property needs to be set in order for a term to change states. Now, if I go back to the glossary, I'm going to create a new term. As you can see, it's in draft mode, and even though I wait, it will not move on its own to the in review state, because the legal entity custom property hasn't been set. If I now go and set the legal entity custom property, the governance workflow will trigger in real time, and it will automatically move this term from draft to in review. And as you can see, the task has been created as well. If I approve it, this will automatically move it to approved. But what happens if I now change this custom property? This would break the rules, because we know the custom property legal entity is currently set to be required. In this case, the workflow will kick in again and will move the term back to draft. With our new automated governance framework, starting with our enhanced glossary approval workflow, you can now ensure data quality and compliance while maintaining the flexibility your organization needs. Collate. We've created a new data governance automation framework, which includes a new customizable workflow to certify your data assets as bronze, silver, or gold. Without data certification, data teams can struggle to find the correct, actively used assets with up-to-date documentation. Under the Classification tab, you can see the new certification classification, which defines bronze, silver, and gold levels. Under the Workflows list, you now have customizable certification workflows for both dashboards and tables. Data certification can help users identify which assets follow a certain set of rules, such as having an owner, description, specific tag, or custom property. While tiers are used to define the data asset's importance in the business, the data certification workflow lets us review each asset holistically to see if it's being managed properly. This combination can help identify important assets that are not well managed. Similar to the Glossary approval workflow, you can customize the validation rules for each asset that determine if it becomes bronze, silver, or gold, or if it stays uncertified. Moreover, on the configuration panel, you can define when you want to trigger the certification workflow, or if you'd like to run it on demand. After running the workflow, we will automatically classify your data, adding a badge next to the asset name, making it easy for your users to identify if the metadata has been properly curated or not. Let's look at some examples. In this first example, we have a well-managed asset with description, ownership, and tier 1. So we have automatically classified this table as gold. In this other example though, this asset is tagged as tier 2. So this table has been automatically classified as silver. Next, we have this asset that has no tier, but it does have a description and an owner. So we have classified it automatically as bronze. Finally, we have this asset that doesn't follow any of the rules. It does not have a description, it doesn't have an owner, and it doesn't have a tier either. So this asset remains not certified. With automated data certification workflows, you can bring confidence to your governance, ensuring data teams know what assets they can trust. Collate. Entity relationship diagrams visually represent how tables are connected within a database, offering a complete picture of your data structure based on their constraints. The metadata ingestion workflow will automatically detect the relationships of your tables based on the types of these constraints, bringing in primary keys and foreign keys. Once the ingestion is completed, you will be able to see the ER Diagrams tab, both at the table and database schema levels. The diagram helps you to easily see the table's constraints and their relationship cardinality. With ER diagrams, discovering your data has never been easier, giving you the ability to jump from table to table by association. You can also edit the diagram to update the type of an existing relationship, or to add or remove a new relationship. We are also offering a table view to quickly identify all the relationships in a simpler way. ER Diagrams offers a common language for tables to discuss database structure and improves troubleshooting by seeing how tables relate, or the impact of changes to the table's definitions. Collate. Collate has continued to expand our data observability features. From creating and executing data tests directly from the UI, to managing alerts and incidents, and to bringing issues to resolution. With our latest release, we're expanding the Data Observability Dashboards to make it easier to manage your platform health. On the Observability tab, you can now track if your data quality, health, and coverage are moving in the right direction by validating all your tests results, healthy data assets, and overall coverage. Moreover, you can drill down on this view to get further details on specific tiers, glossary terms, or for specific teams. This view will also show you the types of tests you have in the platform, as well as the historical trends of test successes or failures. We recognize that tests not only have to be created, but also managed. The new Incident Insights will help you understand how your teams are responding to failures and can help you understand how your most important assets are behaving. We are also improving how your users can quickly know if there are any ongoing issues with an asset, with an alert icon directly next to the name. Then, each table can give you a quick overview about failure trends, ongoing incidents, and more interestingly, any upstream issues that could be impacting this asset. The lineage view will also help visualize if any upstream assets have active test failures, so you can first trust your asset is healthy, and then quickly target the root cause for any failures in your platform. We've also added an Incidents tab for tables to simplify the process for your users to see what might be happening to your data. Collate. Open Metadata includes a built-in alerting system for notifications and observability. This helps to keep users in the loop when they receive tasks or mentions in the platform, as well as to ensure that no important change in your assets goes unnoticed. We can create alerts directly from the UI. Selecting the source, filtering the assets we are interested in, and defining when we want the alert to be triggered. We support many different destinations for the alert, both internal in the system, which will use the user's or team's email addresses, or external, such as a connection to Slack or Teams. In this release, we added the ability to test the destination, ensuring that the configuration is working properly and that we will indeed be notified when the alert goes off. Moreover, we have added the list of recent events fired by an alert, helping you track the origin of your notifications. Open Metadata. In a data-driven organization, metrics are everything. They drive decisions and measure success. With open metadata, your teams can define their own metrics, ensuring consistency across the organization. Now, the same metric can be computed the same way, every time. You can find metrics under the Govern tab, and they will also appear in the Explore page. Metrics are a new data asset, and they have the same set of common properties, such as domain, owner, or tier, and can be used via the API as well. They have specific properties that help you frame the scope of the metric in the organization, like metric type, the type of calculation used for a metric, such as count, average, or ratio. This defines what kind of number the metric represents. The unit of measurement, which is the scale used to interpret the metric, like count, percentage, dollars, or requests. This gives context to the metric, showing what the number represents. We also have granularity, the time scale of the metric, and it goes from seconds to years. Moreover, note how you can define LaTeX formulas in the description, helping translate business language into operations. A metric cannot be complete without the code to compute it, from languages such as SQL, Python, or Java. This will unlock the power of your metrics, enabling your users to simply copy and paste the definition into their processes. You can also link metrics to glossary terms, greatly expanding how users interact with the glossary, and you can help them navigate your business, discovering other important metrics by association. Finally, linking metrics in the lineage view will bring even more meaning to your ETL workloads. Open metadata. Our latest release brings roles and policies directly into the Explore page. This means users now only see assets they have permissions for, creating a personalized and focused discovery experience. Roles and policies are at the core of open metadata. They allow you to set granular permissions with precise rules, ensuring only the right people in your organization can view, create, edit, or delete specific metadata. This becomes even more powerful when dividing your data into domains. With clear, role-based access control, each team or department can access only the data they need, keeping sensitive information protected and ensuring a well-organized and domain-specific experience for every user. Now, by integrating these permissions into search, users can focus on what's relevant to them without worrying about unauthorized access. It's a seamless, efficient way to keep the exploration relevant for each user. To enable it, simply go to Settings, Preferences, Search. Open metadata.